Welcome to Shift, an exclusive podcast by DSN. I'm your host, Blake Mallen, and this is where high-performing entrepreneurs and experts share their most powerful shifts in mindset, skill set, and strategy to help you accelerate your business and amplify your impact. I challenge you to be present, open your mind, and let the shift begin. Welcome to Shift. I'm your host, Blake Mallen here, and last week we had such a unique and inspiring conversation with an absolute power couple. We had Donna Johnson and Thomas Tidlund on the show, a happily married couple where both of them are independent top leaders and earners in totally separate companies, passionate about totally different products and categories and leading totally separate movements of entrepreneurs around the world. And they were able to share such a unique and fascinating dynamic. Donna, obviously a 47-year career, one of the top female professionals in our channel, an author, a leader, a mentor. Thomas sharing his personal journey, high school dropout, rising through all of the challenges, now someone that's on stages worldwide leading a movement, especially across Europe, and both of them together with such a amazing shared value system and perspective. And they poured into us so much wisdom and so many key moments. I mean, we covered super current topics in direct selling, entrepreneurship, mindset shifts. We dove deep into ethics, the deepest we have so far in any of our shows, the journey of personal growth, and so many discussions around the importance of truth, tenacity, ethical behavior in our business, the power of self-awareness and self-discovery, and the significance of adversity in really forging us into who we become. So many important topics and practical advice. So if you missed the full conversation, definitely go back and listen, or maybe this is an inspiration to re-listen to that dialogue. But today, you and I, shift summary, our time together, a time to reflect, a time to pause for a minute, look back on last week. We are getting up close and personal, raw and unfiltered, vulnerable and powerful access to the best in our channel from across the world and across the category. We got to make sure this isn't just hearing, but we are making the transition to really learning and knowing and applying and doing the things we are receiving to make an impact, to grow your business, to grow your income, to grow your influence, to grow your team, and become a ripple of inspiration to the community that you are inspiring. So our time together in these solo episodes is to make sure we're doing just that on some of the most significant shifts that I got from our time with our guests, Donna and Thomas. Starting with shift number one, which really to me is all around this truth-centric shift, transitioning from sometimes, let's be honest, let's be open, let's look in the mirror, seeking external validation, the affirmation from others around us that sometimes maybe filter or shape the conversations that we're having or the perceptions that we're giving, to really the inherent value and power of the truth. I love how Thomas said it so simply: the truth is good enough. Does that just make you smile? Just say it out loud. The truth is good enough. There's so much power. The truth is good enough. I don't know about you, but I just feel more at peace saying that. I can feel the energy around that. It's almost like a weight that gets lifted, a relief that we have, and just confidence in understanding that, you know what? Doesn't matter what it is, doesn't matter what we're going through, doesn't matter the situation or the circumstance. In all of it, the truth is good enough. And we got to take that principle and apply it, right, into practices every single day. So I challenge you, reflect. Everything always starts with reflection. We do not spend enough time really in deep thought reflecting on the journey we're on so we can extract the important lessons. And in order to understand the truth, we have to know what our truth is, your personal values, your personal beliefs, and align our actions in that direction. Honest communication, transparency, making a commitment to practice open and honest communication. I'm talking about, starting with yourself and that own internal dialogue, but with your team members, with your customers, with your community, prioritizing truth and transparency in all interactions, showing up and being authentic to your true self and values in all of the efforts. Yeah, that means removing the mask. That means lowering the filter. That means standing on the foundation that truth is good enough and being proud to deliver it. It comes down to integrity, not only in our communication, but in our decision making. That's when we get challenged. That's when it matters. When we're faced with choices, we have to consider whether the decisions we're making align with the truth and the integrity of what you stand for. Ethical decisions need to be a priority when it comes to leading communities of individuals. And know that the truth is good enough. You don't got to twist it. You don't got to spin it. You don't got to shape it. You don't got to hide it. You don't got to avoid it. You don't got to run from it. The truth is good enough. So let's make the shift. Now, the second shift I really got from our time with Thomas and Donna is really around this AQ mindset shift. AQ. Now, I'd heard of IQ. I'd even heard and am familiar with EQ, right? Emotional intelligence. But have you ever heard of AQ? And I love how they gave us a new vocabulary, a new Q. AQ, Adversity Quotient. How we need to evolve from viewing adversity as a setback, as a mistake, as a failure, as something bad, to really embracing it as a catalyst for our own growth, learning, our own resilience. It is a shift in perception, a shift in definition of how we really take and approach adversity. Adversity isn't a setback. It's a catalyst to allow us to gain the skill, to build the muscle, to adopt a perspective, to build a resilience to allow us to grow. And we need to embrace challenges as a means of learning, cultivating a mindset that really not just says it, but believes it, that in adversity is opportunity for us to get better. And in doing that, one step at a time, one win at a time, we start to develop a resilience and the ability to take on and tackle even greater seasons of adversity. The level of problems or adversity you're willing to face will determine the height that you go in business and life. And in order to take on and tackle those challenges, we got to have a high AQ. So how do we implement this? Reflection. I challenge you right now, not just listen, do the exercise. Tell me some past adversity, some seasons of challenge in your life, in your journey up until this point, that when you look back on today, you are willing to admit and see that you actually gained perspective through that season. It actually helped you in some way. It actually grew a skill, introduced a relationship. Maybe it closed a door that was not meant from you, that there is a positive outcome even from the seasons that we wish we didn't have to go through. Because reflecting on what you get from those seasons builds the belief that when you're in those seasons, you know what? That same outcome is waiting for you on the other side. It's a mindset shift or reframing where we start to recognize and realize that challenges and obstacles are actually opportunities for our own progression. Not just language. It's not good enough just to know the quotes, not good enough just to smile and nod. Blake, you've said this before in different ways. Yeah, we've heard this from guest after guest. It's about actually adopting and installing the belief, the new operating system where that's real, that's knowing for you. And that's the foundation to really build a resilience in growing your business and a resilience in life. So let's make the shift in elevating our AQ. Now, the last shift I really want to talk about, and it really was a part of so much of our dialogue and conversation, is around this ethical integrity shift. Progressing from just following the norms, sticking with the status quo, running emotion, to consciously and intentionally prioritizing ethics in our thoughts, our communication, and our behavior, consistently doing what's right for the right reasons and the right people in our actions and our decisions. Ethics right now is such an important conversation in the world with everything we're experiencing. And it's a deeply important conversation in our business, in our category, in our industry, in your business and community right now. And it needs to be prioritized. Not something added, not a mention, right? Not something we talk about but don't live, but a real conversation. Encouraging the practice of what's right for the right reasons for the right people by your example. You see, this is a value-based approach. Shifting towards making decisions and taking actions based on a set of values that you believe are right and correct. And that starts with you having clarity on what those values are. What is it that you stand for? What is it that you don't? What is it that you believe in? What is it that you do not? What are those firm values that are unnegotiable? They are musts for you. Getting clear on those and then making a real commitment to yourself to live and build your business in alignment with that value system, to be the example. And by living in alignment with your value system as the example, making ethics a priority and living that in your communication and your actions, showing them in your decisions, you become an inspiration for other people to do the same. You literally become a catalyst for a broader shift. And in order to make ethics a real conversation in others, we got to make sure we're living that way ourselves. It starts from within. Now, to get better at this, maybe you invite an accountability framework. It's always good when you want to get better at anything to invite accountability, to elevate responsibility, to hold yourself to a higher level. That may be a couple individuals you work with, some people that are close to you that you trust, saying, guys, let's prioritize ethics based on these values. Let's hold each other accountable. Hey, you know what? You have permission to call me out. Yeah, you can keep me in check when I maybe make a mistake, right? No judgment, no finger pointing. This isn't about negativity. This is about allowing each other to have permissions to challenge ourselves, to raise our standards, and to do it from a way that comes from a spirit of love, right? And a spirit of grace, from the spirit of better. Accountability frameworks work. Accountability groups work. Maybe you adopt that when it comes to this ethics conversation, and it allows us to really create a culture of continuous learning and development where we make ethics an important conversation and one that we elevate. And I promise you, it's needed. You need it for you to go to your next level and be the leader and the example for your team. In doing that, your community and your culture will follow. If enough of you do that in your company, your community will adopt and the culture will shift. And if enough of us do this across the channel, that little ripple, that pebble in the water can make waves. That's how movements are created. That's how change is inspired. And that can happen from conversations like this that we're having, one person and one decision at a time. But you got to make the shift. So there you have it. 3 thoughts, 3 shifts, 3 reflections from our conversation last week, and simple, practical advice that you can choose to apply to your life and your business today. The truth is good enough. Stand on the truth. AQ, Adversity Quotient. Let's raise your AQ and let's make a decision. Draw a line right now in your sand that you will do the right things for the right reasons for the right people, and not just make that rhetoric or a line that sounds good, but an actual commitment to the decisions and actions you take as a growing leader within your community. And if we do that, we can inspire change and inspire people. Those are the shifts, among so many more in our conversation last week. You can find the full dialogue from Donna and Thomas and all of our conversations. We've had so many guests, all the way back to the start of the show and all the places. Find it direct at shiftpodcast.com. You can link there to all of the platforms if you want to listen on Apple or on Spotify or on Audible or watch on YouTube. It's been awesome to see the views on YouTube going up and up and up and up. I like to watch as well, so that's great. And again, I challenge you that a shift really is a gift. And just like you're getting value from our time together, I know you know people that can also get value on their journey. And sometimes all they need is an open door and sharing the link, sharing a story, sharing a post, directing people to a conversation. That could be the open door that changes the very thing for them to go to their next level. You have that power. You have that gift. I ask you guys to share the show. Now, next week, I'm telling you, we have a absolutely unique conversation. One of my favorite conversations to date that I'm bringing to you. I am so glad we had a chance to get him on this show. Very unique in this format, brings decades of experience. And I'm telling you, the conversation, it's just so succinct, so practical. Systems that you can immediately apply, beliefs you can immediately shift to elevate your business from someone that is doing it at the highest level for such a long period of time. Can't wait to introduce you to him, hear the story, spotlight the shifts, and help you accelerate your business and amplify your impact. So mark your calendar, turn on the notifications, make sure you're following the show, check in on Monday, and until then, let's make the shift.